Today is day. Sorry, I'm trying to fix this. Hi, today is day 61 of our 365-day Bible read. Today we're going to be reading Numbers chapters 28 and 29, and then we're going to do the Bible study after we read both Numbers 28 and 29. We'll do the Bible study for them. It's going to be one, like, I'm not going to do the Bible study for Numbers 28 and then Numbers 29, how ESV.org has it. Oh, you know what? No, I'm sorry. But the Bible study it's like together, 28 and 29. The Bible study is like, it's like three questions, but it's about both 28 and 29. So, yeah, so we're going to do the Bible study like that. And then we're going to go on over to the New Testament and we'll read Mark chapter 9, verse 1 through 29. And then we're not going to do a Bible study for that half of Mark chapter 9. We'll wait until tomorrow once we finish Mark chapter 9 by reading verse 30 through 50 tomorrow. And then we'll do the whole Bible study for the entire chapter 9 of Mark tomorrow. So yes, we're gonna get started. These two chapters of Numbers, they're like not very long, and the Bible study, like I said, is only 3 questions. So this will be like a really quick live today. So yes, we're gonna get started now from the Old Testament, Numbers chapter 28 and 29, and then we'll go on over to the New Testament and read Mark chapter 9, verse 1 through 29. And then we'll do the Bible study for for Numbers chapter 28 and 29 after we read it. All right, Numbers chapter 28. Daily offerings. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Command the people of Israel and say to them, my offering, my food for my food offerings, my pleasing aroma, you shall be careful to offer to me at its appointed time. And you shall say to them, this is the food offering that you shall offer to the Lord. 2 male lambs, a year old without blemish, day by day as a regular offering. The one lamb you shall offer in the morning, and the other lamb you shall offer at twilight. Also, a tenth of an ephah of fine flour for a grain offering, mixed with a quarter of a hin of beaten oil. It is a regular burnt offering, which was ordained at Mount Sinai for a pleasing aroma, a food offering to the Lord. Its drink offering shall be a quarter of a hin for each lamb. In the holy place you shall pour out a drink offering of strong drink to the Lord. The other lamb you shall offer at twilight, like the grain offering of the morning, and like its drink offering you shall offer it as a food offering, with a pleasing aroma to the Lord. Sabbath offerings. On the Sabbath day, 2 male lambs a year old without blemish, and 2/10 of an ephah of fine flour for a grain offering, mixed with oil, and its drink offering. This is the burnt offering of every Sabbath besides the regular burnt offering and its drink offering. Monthly offerings. At the beginnings of your months, you shall offer a burnt offering to the Lord. 2 bulls from the herd, 1 ram, 7 male lambs a year old without blemish, also 3/10 of an ephah of fine flour for a grain offering mixed with oil, for each bull, and 2/10 of fine flour for a grain offering mixed with oil, for the 1 ram, and a tenth of fine flour mixed with oil as a grain offering for every lamb, for a burnt offering with a pleasing aroma, a food offering to the Lord. Their drink offering shall be half a hin of wine for a bull, a third of a hin for a ram, and a quarter of a hin for a lamb. This is the burnt offering of each month throughout the months of the year. Also, one male goat for a sin offering to the Lord. It shall be offered besides the regular burnt offering and its drink offering. Passover offerings. On the 14th day of the first month is the Lord's Passover, and on the 15th day of this month is a feast. 7 days shall unleavened bread be eaten. On the first day there shall be a holy convocation. You shall not do any ordinary work, but offer a food offering, a burnt offering to the Lord. 2 bulls from the herd, 1 ram, and 7 male lambs a year old. See that they are without blemish. Also, their grain offering of fine flour mixed with oil. 3/10 of an ephah shall you offer for a bull, and 2/10 for a ram. 1/10 shall you offer for each of the 7 lambs. Also, 1 male goat for a sin offering to make atonement for you. You shall offer these besides the burnt offering of the morning, which is for a regular burnt offering. In the same way, you shall offer daily for 7 days the food of a food offering, with a pleasing aroma to the Lord. It shall be offered besides the regular burnt offering and its drink offering. And on the 7th day you shall have a holy convocation. You shall not do any ordinary work. Offerings for the Feast of Weeks. On the day of the first fruits, when you offer a grain offering of new grain to the Lord at your Feast of Weeks, you shall have a holy convocation. You shall not do any ordinary work, but offer a burnt offering with a pleasing aroma to the Lord. 2 bulls from the herd, 1 ram, 7 male lambs a year old. Also their grain offering of fine flour mixed with oil, 3/10 of an ephah for each bull, 2/10 for 1 ram, 1/10 for each of the 7 lambs with 1 male goat, to make atonement for you. Besides the regular burnt offering and its grain offering, you shall offer them and their drink offering. See that they are without blemish. Numbers chapter 29. Offerings for the Feast of Trumpets. On the first day of the 7th month you shall have a holy convocation. You shall not do any ordinary work. It is a day for you to blow the trumpets, and you shall offer a burnt offering for a pleasing aroma to the Lord. 1 bull from the herd, 1 ram, 7 male lambs a year old without blemish. Also, their grain offering of fine flour mixed with oil, 3/10 of an ephah for the bull, 2/10 for the ram, and 1/10 for each of the 7 lambs, with 1 male goat for a sin offering, to make atonement for you, besides the burnt offering of the new moon, and its grain offering, and the regular burnt offering, and its grain offering, and their drink offering, according to the rule for them for a pleasing aroma, a food offering to the Lord. Offerings for the Day of Atonement. On the 10th day of this 7th month you shall have a holy convocation and afflict yourselves. You shall do no work, but you shall offer a burnt offering to the Lord, a pleasing aroma. 1 bull from the herd, 1 ram, 7 male lambs a year old. See that they are without blemish, and their grain offering shall be of fine flour mixed with oil. 3/10 of an ephah for the bull, 2/10 for the 1 ram, 1/10 for each of the 7 lambs, also 1 male goat for a sin offering, besides the sin offering of atonement, and the regular burnt offering and its grain offering, and their drink offerings. Offerings for the Feast of Booths. On the 15th day of the 7th month You shall have holy convocation. You shall not do any ordinary work, and you shall keep a feast to the Lord 7 days. And you shall offer a burnt offering, a food offering with a pleasing aroma to the Lord. 13 bulls from the herd, 2 rams, 14 male lambs a year old, they shall be without blemish, and their grain offering of fine flour mixed with oil, 3/10 of an ephah for each of the 13 bulls, 2/10 for each of the 2 rams, and a tenth for each of the 14 lambs. Also, 1 male goat for a sin offering besides the regular burnt offering, its grain offering, and its drink offering. On the second day, 12 bulls from the herd, 2 rams, 14 male lambs a year old without blemish, with the grain offering and the drink offerings for the bulls, for the rams and for the lambs in the prescribed quantities. Also, 1 male goat for a sin offering, besides the regular burnt offering and its grain offering and their drink offerings. On the third day, 11 bulls, 2 rams, 14 male lambs a year old without blemish, with the grain offering and the drink offerings for the bulls, for the rams, and for the lambs in the prescribed quantities. Also, 1 male goat for a sin offering, besides the regular burnt offering and its grain offering and its drink offering. On the fourth day, 10 bulls, 2 rams, 14 male lambs a year old without blemish, with the grain offering and the drink offerings for the bulls, for the rams, and for the lambs in the prescribed quantities. Also, 1 male goat for a sin offering, besides the regular burnt offering, its grain offering, and its drink offering. On the fifth day, 9 bulls, 2 rams, 14 male lambs a year old without blemish, with the grain offering and the drink offerings for the bulls, for the rams, and for the lambs, in the prescribed quantities. Also, 1 male goat for a sin offering, besides the regular burnt offering and its grain offering and its drink offering. On the sixth day, 8 bulls, 2 rams, 14 male lambs a year old without blemish, with the grain offering and the drink offerings for the bulls, for the rams, and for the lambs in the prescribed quantities. Also, 1 male goat for a sin offering, besides the regular burnt offering, its grain offering, and its drink offerings. On the seventh day, 7 bulls, 2 rams, 14 male lambs a year old without blemish, with the grain offering and the drink offerings for the bulls, for the rams, and for the lambs in the prescribed quantities. Also, 1 male goat for a sin offering, besides the regular burnt offering, its grain offering, and its drink offering. On the 8th day you shall have a solemn assembly. You shall not do any ordinary work, but you shall offer a burnt offering, a food offering, with a pleasing aroma to the Lord. 1 bull, 1 ram, 7 male lambs a year old without blemish, and the grain offering and the drink offerings for the bull, for the ram, and for the lambs in the prescribed quantities. Also, 1 male goat for a sin offering, besides the regular burnt offering and its grain offering and its drink offering. These you shall offer to the Lord at your appointed feasts, in addition to your vow offerings and your free will offerings, for your burnt offerings, and for your grain offerings, and for your drink offerings, and for your peace offerings. So Moses told the people of Israel everything just as the Lord had commanded Moses. All right, so that was Numbers chapter 28 and Numbers chapter 29. We are now going to do the Bible study for both Numbers 28 and Numbers 29. It's just 3 questions, and the Bible study is for both chapters 28 and 29 together. It's not like one for chapter 28 and one for chapter 29. So This is how it is. Okay, let's get started. So yes, it's literally only 3 questions. Okay. Numbers chapter 28 and 29 Bible study. What were the offerings the people were reminded to keep? The people were reminded of each offering they were to observe: the daily offering, the Sabbath offering, the monthly offering, the Passover offering, the Feast of First Fruits, the Feast of Weeks, the Feast of Trumpets, the Day of Atonement, and the Feast of Tabernacles. How many animals were sacrificed during the Feast of Tabernacles? 199 animals were sacrificed during the Feast of Tabernacles. 30 on day 1, 29 on day 2, 28 on day 3, 27 on day 4, 26 on day 5, 25 on day 6, 24 on day 7, and 10 on day 8. Why did God instruct the people of Israel about the offerings again? Moses was going to die. A new leader and a new generation of people were about to go into the promised land. They needed to be reminded of the ordinances of the offerings. All right, so that was the Bible study for Numbers chapters 28 and 29 together. It was one Bible study for both chapters because both chapters were basically just repeating the same thing, but for different days, So yes, so it was 3 questions for both chapters. So now we're going on over to the New Testament, and we're going to read Mark chapter 9, verse 1 through 29 only, and then we won't do a Bible study for Mark chapter 9 until tomorrow once we finish it by reading verse 30 through 50 of Mark chapter 9. So we're going to start now over to the New Testament now, Mark chapter 9, and we're only reading up to verse 29. Okay, Mark chapter 9. And he said to them, "Truly I say to you, there are some standing here who will not taste death until they see the kingdom of God after it has come with power." The Transfiguration. And after 6 days, Jesus took with him Peter and James and John and led them up a high mountain by themselves. And he was transfigured before them, and his clothes became radiant, intensely white, as no one on earth could bleach them. And there appeared to them Elijah with Moses, and they were talking with Jesus. And Peter said to Jesus, "Rabbi, it is good that we are here. Let us make 3 tents, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah." For he did not know what to say, for they were terrified. And a cloud overshadowed them, and a voice came out of the cloud, "This is my beloved Son, listen to him." And suddenly, looking around, they no longer saw anyone with them but Jesus only. And as they were coming down the mountain, he charged them to tell no one what they had seen until the Son of Man had risen from the dead. So they kept the matter to themselves, questioning what this rising from the dead might mean. And they asked him, "Why do the scribes say that first Elijah must come?" And he said to them, "Elijah does come first to restore all things. And how is it written of the Son of Man that he should suffer many things and be treated with contempt? But I tell you that Elijah has come, and they did to him whatever they pleased, as it is written of him." Jesus heals a boy with an unclean spirit. And when they came to the disciples, they saw a great crowd around them and scribes arguing with them. And immediately all the crowd, when they saw him, were greatly amazed and ran up to him and greeted him. And he asked them, "What are you arguing about with them?" And someone from the crowd answered him, "Teacher, I brought my son to you, for he has a spirit that makes him mute. And whoever it seizes him, and whenever it seizes him, it throws him down, and he foams and grinds his teeth and becomes rigid. So I asked your disciples to cast it out, and they were not able." And he answered them, "O faithless generation, how long am I to be with you? How long am I to bear with you? Bring him to me." And they brought the boy to him. And when the spirit saw him, immediately it convulsed the boy, and he fell on the ground and rolled about, foaming at the mouth. And Jesus asked his father, "How long has this been happening to him?" And he said, "From childhood. And it has often cast him into fire and into water to destroy him. But if you can do anything, have compassion on us and help us." And Jesus said to him, "If you can, all things are possible for one who believes." Immediately the father of the child cried out and said, "I believe, help my unbelief." And when Jesus saw that a crowd came running together, he rebuked the unclean spirit, saying to it, "You mute and deaf spirit, I command you, come out of him and never enter him again." And after crying out and convulsing him terribly, it came out, and the boy was like a corpse, so that most of them said, "He is dead." But Jesus took him by the hand and lifted him up, and he arose. And when he had entered the house, his disciples asked him privately, "Why could we not cast it out?" And he said to them, "This kind cannot be driven out by anything but prayer." All right, so that was Mark chapter 9, verse 1 through 29. So day 61 is now complete. Yes, so a quick recap of what we did today. We read from the Old Testament, Numbers chapter 28 and 29, and then we did the Bible study for Numbers chapter 28 and 29 together. It was just 3 questions, but it was for both chapters. Then we went on over to the New Testament and we read Mark chapter 9, verse 1 through 29. And we're not going to do a Bible study until we finish Mark chapter 9 tomorrow by reading verse 30 through 50. And then we'll do the Bible study for the entire Mark chapter 9 tomorrow. I am following the year reading Bible schedule from esv.org, and they do split the some of the books. Well, actually, they split all of the books of the New Testament up. That way, we will be able to read some of the Old Testament and some of the New Testament every day for this entire year. That we'll be reading through the entire Bible, and there are more books of the Old Testament than there is of the New Testament, so they have to split the New Testament up because we would finish the New Testament before we finish the Old Testament, if not. So that is why that happens. So yes, so anyways, so our day is complete. I love you, beautiful people. I'm excited for you guys on your journey, and blessings to you all. Blessings to you all in all areas of your life. And I love you, and God loves you. You are important. You matter. You are enough. You are valuable. You are worthy. And God loves you, and I love you. And I'm excited for you on this journey. And I will see you tomorrow for day 62. I love you. Enjoy the rest of your night. or day, wherever you're from. It's 10:21 here, Eastern Standard Time, 10:21 p.m. So yeah, it's nighttime here. So okay, love you guys. Sorry, I'm trying to. Um, okay. All right. Okay. At the end of all my lives, I'll look at my messages, and then if there's like some crazy comments or something, I'll like go and hide the user from this channel. Sometimes people write some crazy stuff on here, so yeah, I'll hide the person from the channel at the end of the live. So that's what I'm doing if I'm just sitting here looking crazy, like I'm looking into space. So yeah, I was just doing that, hiding that user from the channel. So yes, all right, I love you guys, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for day 62. Enjoy your night.